So today, we're diving into a really fundamental problem right at the heart of quantum computing. It's a story about the building blocks of this next tech revolution and how they are just incredibly twitchy and unpredictable. It's a huge challenge, but the solution they came up with, well, that's just as fascinating as the problem itself.
I mean, just think about it for a second. What if you were trying to build the most powerful computer in history, but the most basic parts, the bits doing all the work, were just, changing their minds hundreds of times every single second? That's exactly the kind of puzzle we're tackling today.
And believe me, the stakes here are massive. We're talking about machines that could completely change our world. Things like creating life-saving drugs or designing super-efficient batteries. But all of that amazing potential, it all comes down to one tiny and, as it turns out, incredibly fragile component.
And here it is. Meet the qubit. It's the quantum world's version of a regular computer bit. But here's the cool part. A normal bit is either a 0 or a 1. A qubit, though, can be in a superposition, which is a fancy way of saying it can kind of be both a 0 and a 1 at the same time. That's its superpower. But as we're about to see, it's also its greatest weakness, because these things are just unbelievably sensitive.
All right, so let's take a closer look at this instability. You could almost say it's the main villain of our story.
Now, what's so wild is where this whole problem starts. It's not some big external thing. Nope, it's microscopic defects. Tiny little flaws inside the materials used to build the qubits. And these little defects, they're constantly jumping around. Every time one moves, it messes with the qubit, and that precious quantum state, that delicate mix of 0 and 1, poof, it's gone. And so is the information it was holding. The source material for this explainer gives us this absolutely perfect analogy. Picture a strong workhorse, right? It's ready to plow a field, do some serious work. But imagine that as it's trying to work, obstacles just randomly pop up in its way, way too fast for anyone to clear them. The horse is powerful for sure, but with all these constant, unpredictable interruptions, the job becomes nearly impossible. Well, that's pretty much a day in the life of a qubit.
And if that wasn't hard enough, this led to the next massive challenge. For the longest time, scientists couldn't even properly see this problem as it was happening.
And this right here just lays it all out. The old way of measuring a qubit's performance, it took minutes. But the actual chaos, those obstacles popping up in the field, that's all happening in milliseconds. It was literally like trying to photograph a hummingbird's wings using a camera from the 1800s.
So the picture they were getting wasn't the real deal at all. It was just this slow, blurry average of what the qubit was doing. It completely hid the true, chaotic nature of the problem. And how can you possibly fix something when you can't even see it properly?
But then, everything changed. And this is where we get to the breakthrough from the Niels Bohr Institute, and how they finally figured out how to watch the qubit in real time. What they did was they built a system that could finally keep up. It's a special kind of monitoring system that can track these sudden shifts in performance, these fluctuations as they actually happen. No more blurry pictures.
Now, the secret sauce here is a piece of hardware called a Field Programmable Gate Array, or FPGA. The easiest way to think about it is like a highly specialized classical computer chip that's a master of doing one thing, executing tasks incredibly fast. It's a total speed demon. And by running their experiment on this thing, the team could process data and react almost instantly.
So here's how this new method works, and it's just brilliant. The system takes a super quick measurement of the qubit. It sends that data right away to the FPGA, which instantly updates its understanding of what the qubit is doing, and then it adapts its whole strategy for the very next measurement. It's this constant lightning-fast feedback loop.
And the result of all this? Get this, a system that is about 100 times faster than what they had before. Now, that's not just a small improvement, that is a massive leap forward. A complete game changer for how scientists can watch and understand their quantum hardware. Okay, so now they have this powerful new lens, right? But with it, the researchers didn't just confirm what they already thought they knew, they discovered something totally new and, frankly, a bit alarming. And yeah, this is where the story gets really interesting. Because they didn't just use this new tool to prove their old theories. They uncovered a reality about how qubits work that they never even imagined.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Here's a quote from Dr. Fabrizio Beretta. He says, "The biggest surprise was seeing that a perfectly good, stable qubit could suddenly turn into a bad, unstable one in fractions of a second. Not over minutes or hours, like they might have thought, but in the blink of an eye."
So why is this such a big deal?
Well, you have to think of a quantum computer like a team. Its overall power isn't decided by its star players, its best performing qubits. No, it's actually determined by its weakest link, the worst performing qubit at any single moment. So if any qubit can become that worst one in a split second, well, that's a huge, huge problem.
So, what does this discovery really mean for the future? Well, it basically opens up a whole new strategy, a whole new playbook for building stable quantum computers. With this new tech, scientists can finally identify the troublemakers as it's happening. They can see exactly which qubit has turned bad, and they can get all the data they need on that behavior in seconds, a process that used to take hours or even days. This is a critical first step towards actually stabilizing these systems while they're running.
You know what's also really cool about this story is how this breakthrough even happened. It wasn't just cooked up in a university lab alone. This was made possible by combining brilliant academic research with powerful, off-the-shelf technology from industry partners. It's just a perfect example of how that kind of teamwork is pushing science forward today.
So if there's one crucial thing to take away from all of this, it's pretty simple. You can't control what you can't see. If we really want to build the quantum future, we have to start creating systems that can see and correct for these frantic, hidden instabilities on the fly.
This breakthrough has really given us a new set of eyes to peer into the quantum world. It solved one massive mystery, the true speed of this instability. But it leaves us with this really exciting open question. Now that we can actually watch the frantic dance of the qubits in real time, you just have to wonder, what other quantum secrets are just waiting to be discovered?